Hello, I am Rebecca from Troop 38823. Today it is my honor to introduce Miss Jana Jones. Jana Jones discovered her life's compass in 4th grade when she became a member of a Girl Scout troop in Odessa. What began as a childhood adventure filled with troop meetings led by Miss Gillespie and Miss Franklin, summers at Camp Mitre Peak blossomed into a lifelong vocation of empowering youth. Over a 31-year career in public education, she recognized early on that a student's success is deeply tied to their sense of belonging. Inspired by the profound empathy and teamwork she witnessed in her own classroom, Jana shifted her professional focus from traditional academics to group dynamics and community building with the help of the Experiential Ropes Association, aka team building. This newfound purpose, along with sage advice from her mentors, Diane Phillips, Mike Tambrella, and Lorenzo Phillips, led her to pioneer a Leadership Challenge course program for Lake Travis ISD, serve as a full-time ropes course facilitator and trainer for Austin ISD, and ultimately design the POWER program, an innovative special education program centered on social emotional learning with students, teachers, and parents from Hayes CISD. Her deep expertise in team building was a natural fit with her Girl Scouting activities and opportunities. She served in various summer camp roles, from unit counselor to assistant director, and volunteered on staff of 11 Girl Scout national and international events, including Alaska, Hawaii, England, Cyprus, and Australia. She also established You Go Girl, a leadership training business with Beth Abel. Together, they facilitated the Camp CEO program for high school girls at Camp Mitre Peak for 20 years. All these experiences shaped and expanded her skill set before and during her time at as camp director of Camp Mitre Peak, a role she accepted in 2001. What she initially agreed would be a 1-year commitment proudly spans 19 summers as camp director with invaluable guidance from her Girl Scout mentors, including Barbara Clark, Susan Rutherford, and Daphne Tabor. Under her leadership and in partnership with Tina Baskin and then Heather Westerfield, long-serving assistant directors, Camp Mitre Peak continued to cultivate an inclusive environment for campers to build lifelong friendships, develop self-reliance and confidence, along with an appreciation of the outdoors. Every decision she made was intentional, focused on creating a collaborative and unified staff, who also happened to develop lifelong friendships and self-reliance along the way. Today, Jana continues her legacy of service now in 2 main ways: through her mentorship with the current camp leaders, including Catherine Ellers, the new Mitre Peak camp director, and through her leadership with the nonprofit Troop Mitre Peak. In collaboration with her co-chair, Freda Walker, and the other board members, Troop Mitre, a camp alumna-based organization, provides financial and volunteer support towards programming and maintenance of Camp Mitre Peak, a camp that has been serving girls and young adults for over 75 years. Honored for her exceptional dedication to the mission of Girl Scouts, she remains a staunch advocate for the transformative power of connection. She believes deeply that when young people are given a safe, supportive space to be their authentic, goofy selves, they uncover their unique gifts and learn exactly how they can make the world a better place. Please watch the screen to see more on this amazing woman.
This has been a great process to think through a lifetime of career choices, and I realized, wow, how many small decisions I made that had such a big impact and took me down a whole path that I had no idea. It started in 4th grade. I joined Girl Scouts, and I remember so vividly studying in my parents' car while we were riding around, and my brand new junior handbook. I was studying the Promise and Law. I mean, I made lifelong friends. I learned, confidence, independence, a sense of belonging, having a group. And all of that played into what was coming next. So I went off to college, Texas Tech. I got my bachelor's in elementary education. During those first years, I was teaching at Marble Falls, elementary, 5th grade, and there was a girl in one of my classes one year. Her name was Shruti. Shruti changed my teaching. She was had a medical condition, was very small in stature for a 5th grader, and the kids would carry her around like she was their baby, and I was always saying, push Shruti down. But what I saw was that year, that class was no longer a class of individuals, but a team, a group, a community. So Chaos's call came, and that got me back into Girl Scouting, and when a few years, I was asked to be assistant camp director. By the time that Barbara Clark and Susan Rutherford asked me to be camp director here at Minor Peak in 2001, I had the confidence to say yes. I've learned over the years that, one step at a time, and, it will always work out. It always does. I just have to trust the process. And keep moving. And no job I did ever do alone. So there's always a team. So, and relying on each other and trying to have some humor in the heart moments, So, and I would say that, what still inspires me, even though now I've retired from both summer camp after, 19 summers and teaching, is that I'm still doing the same mission, following the same passions of helping kids and creating communities in volunteer work. I think my best advice is find a community, whether that's a camp community, school, sports, a group that you can be a part of, but it has to be a true, real community where you feel safe, respected, you can just be yourself. And where you can learn and grow, maybe step into leadership, and will likely give you access to mentors. And be willing to learn, be open to learning from people you meet along the way that have your best interest at heart.
Please welcome Miss Jana Jones to the podium.
Cheaters. Hats off to those that did it without writing it down, but I have mine written. First, let me say this award and the process of reflecting on one's life is, as others have said, is very humbling, to say the least. But it's also been overwhelmingly amazing. When I called my friend Mike to invite him, he said, well, congratulations. At our age, it's nice to attend these kind of events so you can actually visit with people. Unlike when your family and friends attend your funeral, there's no visiting. So here we are, and I'm really glad we get to visit. A big thank you goes to Tammy Arnold and to the council for the nomination and the selection. It is an honor to join the Women of Distinction Circle. I must also thank my mom and my dad for signing me up for Girl Scouts and setting the course for my future. Little did they know how many road trips to the Davis Mountains they'd be taking. My mom always worried about what I might face as camp director, but she needn't to worry. because I never stood alone. It was always a team effort. Still, her concern was always there and always very clear. On every letter she sent me, written across the back, said, "Watch out for snakes." That mix of love, humor, and care has stayed with me. And yes, Mom, I still watch for snakes when I can. There are many here tonight who supported me along the way. Those who helped open the doors early in my journey: Susan, Kathy, Shag. Shag's always Shag. Kat. Those who helped, those who worked with me to build programs, partnerships, and organizations, such as Carol, Mike, and Pixie, and Phil. Those who have served as business and travel partners, Beth Abel and friends. And those who continue to carry the work forward today. First, those who still work directly with campers at Camp Mitre Peak, and there are many in this room, including our young people. Including one former camper who was a camper my first year as camp director, Ashley. Now serving as assistant camp director. That's a full circle. And then there are those that lead and volunteer for Troop Mitre, different places in the room. Our Camp Illini organization. There are 3 board members here tonight. And there's one person who couldn't be here, and that's Freda Walker, my co-chair. She sent this message to me that was very, very touching. I think of the tremendous difference you have made over the many years. You provided vision, developed programs, and built relationships that support the success story of Camp Mitre Peak and of Troop Mitre. Both will continue into the future. My spirit is celebrating with you. The truth is, I never set out to build a legacy, nor be called a mentor. I simply followed what I felt I was meant to do: work with kids, build community, and create spaces where people can grow. Along the way, something happened. Something special happened. At camp, we call it Mitre Magic. Mitre Magic is when the moon rises just as the campers are singing Moon on the Meadow. Sometimes it's a group of girls finding trust in each other or confidence in themselves. And sometimes Mitre Magic is simply people showing up for each other in important ways. Thank you for showing up for me tonight. Seeing all of you here means more than I can say. Thank you.
Together